This is Carol Sullivan for the Galena Center for the Arts. We love to collaborate with the Galena Library and especially love to collaborate with poetry. We hope you enjoy the program tonight. Look for other virtual programs from the Galena Center for the Arts on the Galena Center for the Arts YouTube channel, and we'll have a link for that channel down below. Enjoy the evening.
Hi, my name is Larissa Disler, and I'm the Adult Services Librarian at the Galena Public Library in Galena, Illinois. This year for National Poetry Month, we decided to try something a little bit different from what we normally do and put on an open mic for poetry. The Galena Center for the Arts collaborated with us on this, and it turned into a really great event with a lot of really great poets. And I hope you enjoy. If you do enjoy, make sure that you like this video down below. Please subscribe to our channel if you want to see more content from us. And let us know in the comments if poetry readings is something you want to see more of in the future, or if there's something else you'd like to see more of in the future. We always want to hear your feedback. So thank you very much and enjoy the readings.
Piece is titled The Ballad of Youth, and it goes as: I'm scared of the long night. I may speak in great delight, revealing the hidden dark truth of a painfully aching youth. All the nights my eyes shamefully lied, every time I silently cried. Everything is deeply stuck inside, still lost in my dizzy mind. About the days I really tried, expressing the feelings already died. I'm terrified to say the word no one close to me ever heard, and for which the only person I called friend turned his back on me in the end. I know that someday everybody will hear when my truth enters every single ear, when my body's covered scars shine as bright as the stars. I bet you know what I'm talking about, without having to let it out. It's the untold bureau story that always makes me worry. All the past memories of being in love and the beautiful butterflies flying above. All the romantic candles with fancy food and the soft kisses that changed the mood. About the promises they once made, which would later quickly fade. Or the vows they never believed and the moments that would never be lived. Let me tell you about the day I unexpectedly lost my way, and to whom I sold my precious heart, though we were growing apart. Let me show you how the pain was born, and for how long I would mourn. Let me describe the shame inside of an identity I used to hide, of a past where I belong, of a road that was so long. It started many and many years back, when the sky was almost black, when my heart was still pure, when there was no need for a cure. I fell in love with a forbidden soul, and suffering became my dole. I slept with whom I would desire, I touched places I still admire. I've committed awful sins I still dream of ever since. And in spite of the shed pleasure, love to them was only leisure. For that I shed a river of tears, and have raised many fears. I spent days drowning into depression, and nights writing my confession. I locked myself in trying to heal, but I couldn't let go of what I would feel. I lost faith in everyone around, and muted my feelings sound. I befriended my dark side, and swallowed my own pride. Then time passed quickly by, all the memories were dry. My heart had overcome the pain, and I was reborn again. Thank you, everyone. That was my time.
Thank you. I'm reading a sestina entitled Rio Abajo Rio, The River Beneath the River. Dawn blesses the Sangre de Cristos, the redeeming dawn and shadow, bleeding dry onto the cleansing plain, the vein of redemption opened where the bones of the earth meet old rivers, where the wind carries the cries of La Llorona seeking her lost children, her eyes soft with unshed tears, the unforgiving earth strewn with forgotten stones, with small bones of mice and rabbits. La Llorona haunts the careless dunes, floating weightless among the rabbit brush, the errant wind wild in her hair, evil like a tuning fork among the shadows. We float in loss and hope, we find no words. We are swallowed by the earth, Small crimes of atonement mock our redemption. A storm brews in the boundary lands. Voices of children along the ancient river echo in the dawn. The arroyo hides the river. Forgiveness comes with light and searing heat. We seek the coolness of the river. Shy, small deer come to drink, bloody arrows quivering in their dusty hides, and rabbit bones like sharp stones cut our feet. We seek our lost children. The dead have no privacy in our howling sorrow. They hide in the shadows, in pinyon and sage where the doves go to die. They deny our redemption in the landscape of the past. They are the bones of the earth. The dawn fades, the sands shift. We open the veins of the earth. We cannot bear our sadness. We cannot bear our loss. The old riverbeds are dry. We do not yield up the waters of our redemption. Fortunes are told with old stones, with the dried bones of rabbits tossed carelessly into the fire. The future red in the ashes and fickle shadows. We stir the cinders of a cold fire. We listen for the laughter of our children. White shell woman rides the ghost ship of the moon, a million cold stars, her children. Sins of omission scar the sacred geometry of the earth. The cold mountains yield no answer. There are no shamans in their shadows. They do not answer to the ancient rivers. They know not the ancient rivers where we walk alone, where we are frightened like timid rabbits, where we dream the ancient rivers, where we chase the foxfire of redemption. Lady Raven flies westward, shedding her long shadow. Redemption lies in the shifting sands, in the prayers of our children. Children playing in the arroyos, children running wild, running free among the rabbit brush. The unbound wounded are better angels in the crimson stain of the earth. Our gnarled hands rake the sands of the sangres. We remember the ancient river. Sangre de Cristo, Sangre de Madre, we cast no shadow. La Llorona seeks redemption in the lingering shadows, shadows of children born upon the ancient river, bones scattered among the rabbit brush, their dreams untold in the ashes of the earth. Thank you.
Hey, hi, everyone. It's kind of great that one of the great traditions of the slam was that it's old people like me and young people all together in the same room sharing their thoughts and their hearts. And that's a great thing. Back in 84, when things started, that was a rare thing that the different generations would get together. And it's one of the things I'm most proud of. I'm going to do 3 poems for you, and if anybody has any questions, sure, and they don't want a real good answer, I'll try to answer them. So, but here's some poems from the beginning. I'm wearing my father's coat. He has died. I didn't like him, but I wear the coat. I'm wearing the coat of my father, who is dead. I didn't like him, but I wear the coat just the same. A younger man stopping me on the street has asked, hey, where'd you get a coat like that? I answered that it was my father's, who's now gone. The younger man shuts up. It's not that I'm trying now to be proud of my father. I didn't like him. He was a narrow man. There was more of everything he should have done, more of what he should have tried to understand. The coat fit him well. It fits me now. I didn't love him, but I wear the coat. Most of us show off to one another, fashions of who we are, sometimes buttoned to the neck, sometimes overpriced, sometimes surprising even ourselves in garments we would have never dreamed of wearing. I wear my father's coat, and it seems to me that this is the way the most of us make each other's acquaintance, in coats we have taken to be our own. The pensive a daddy-o, cool on the patio, stares at the silver moon blowing out a Y. But the silver moon laughs, dancing with the dipper spoon, says nobody's gonna catch the meaning of the sky. Huh? Roll your depressions into a dark woolly blanket. Take them to the river and let them slip right in. I'm bopping on the wavelength of a crazy new vibration of something so obvious it's always never been. What? Is it sugar? Is it cocaine? Is it a needle in your arm? Is it a haiku or a sonnet or a pleasant little farm? Can you taste it? Can you touch it? Does it make you seem to glow? Has it always been a part of your inner spinning soul? I don't know. But the pensive Adagio, cool on the patio, stares at the silver moon blowing out a Y. But the silver moon laughs, dancing with the dipper spoon, says nobody's gonna catch. Nobody's gonna catch the spirit in the sky. Imagine a little kid on the southeast side of the corner of Chicago with a spinning piano doodling with the keys. This was the rain. This, the thunder. And this, the electrostatic stitches knit now and again in the gray growing darkness, ripping the sky. This was the bright blue, the sun. Steps of a spider, light on the downspout, beads on the paint flakes, peeling off tin. This was the moon, dissolving in a window, wrapping a shade, a passage of air. It moved the curtains, sheer white from the wood sill, wet to the alley, caught in the spin. This was the cry, calling at midnight, voiceless a cry, calling within. These were the footsteps. Someone was coming. No one to listen, no one to care. He was a small boy running from father. He was a father running to son. They were a moment, caught in a photo, caught in the sunlight, caught in a spin. Here is the green lawn under the sunlight. Green is the empire bounded by walks. Here he is running fast through the red leaves, falling in autumn into a pile. Face of all sunlight, passage through gangways, taken at emergence to light. This is the bright face, face of October, racing the summer Indian ghost. These are the brushed leaves, frosted at morning, curling at sunset, curling in smoke. This is the lace gown, garment of snowfall, flaking upon him, falling within. He was a small boy running from father. He was a father running to son. They were a moment, caught in a photo, caught in the sunlight, caught in the spin. This was the rain. This was the thunder. This was the lightning stitching the sky. Here comes the dark blue, coated with moonlight. These are the stars spinning on high. These are the stars spinning on high. There you go. There's 3 poems for you all. I don't know if anybody had questions. I saw on the email thing that there was a thing for questions. If you got a question, I'll answer it. If not, I'll do one more poem for you and we'll be on to the other people. So let me know. I don't know how you'll let me know because I'm not too keen on this stuff here, but is anybody I'm looking at the chat to see if there's questions, but they're not. So I'm going to just do one more poem for you. And I'm going to read this one. So here you go. And thanks so much, everybody. I'm going to look forward to hearing the rest of you. Yay. This is for the lonely ones, the older ones, passed on now, silenced by speeding time, less significant than once before, beleaguered by the goals they did not achieve, consumed by the failures haunting their final hours, the disappointments, the miscues, the wrong-headedness, the attachment to what never was or ever would be. This is for the average folk, manipulated by desires sold to them from the first cry of birth, the innocence of youth conditioned by institutions, religions, governments, commerce, and the misguided leaders of the same. This is for the heroic middle, maintaining as best it can, sometimes far too far to the right, attacking differences perceived as threats to lifestyles they have spent lifetimes building, sometimes far too far to the left, ruthlessly unhinging tradition, propagandizing an absolute view of a should-be humanity, condemning the injustice of powers not aligned with their own. This is for the middle ground, the point of perspective that sees error on both sides, that notes the hypocrisy of all rhetorical bombast and bias. For those who can and do befriend an enemy for attributes befriendable. For those who decline to accept left or right puritanical thinking. For those who seek and grant repentance, who forgive. For scientific observable truths collaborated by honest investigating minds. For consensus beyond percentage point democracy. For ideals that may be beyond mortal grasp. For hopes that may be no more than mirage. For virtues sung, painted, acted, cast, forged, danced, preached, doodled, belabored, bellowed, whispered, passed down in secrecy, etched on prison walls, voiced through the choking loop of a gallows rope, prayed for, toiled for, wept for, and preserved. For the possibility that existence is far more than the cynical pursuit of material wealth. For those who might someday give up their miserly ways and spend freely their billions on the betterment of the earth. For those of the far left and the far right that might return to the golden mean, compromising differences for the benefit of all. For a self-expanding revolution evolving into a million individual souls enlightened to the prospect that all life can live together as one. For those at risk of being silenced by speeding time, standing and pronouncing and singing and dancing and drawing from the depths of history and knowledge, the dreams, the older ones, the lonely ones, the silenced ones died for. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Mark, so much. Just real quick before we move on, do you have any advice for any of the aspiring performance poets that might be on tonight?
You know, just do what you're doing tonight. And, you know, a lot of people think the slam was all about a competition, but actually it was about creating communities like this where we can come together and share our hearts and listen to everybody. One of the greatest moments at the Green Mill, where everything was started, was after 9/11. We had in the room every point of view from the far right to the far left, people that were waving the American flag and people that were saying, in America, you deserve this for all the bad things you've done across the world. Everybody in the same room saying all this stuff. You had nobody fighting with everybody, each other, people listening to each other. the greatest thing about the slam is that there's all kinds of voices coming together in the same room. The far right guy drinking beer with the kid with, piercings, and, it was great. It was a wonderful thing. We're all human. We're all from the same species, and we all have the same desires. So what you're doing today, being together in this format, which is kind of strange for me because I'm not a tech guy. It's what it's all about, to be together, sharing our hearts and ideas with each other. I talked too long, so long. Thanks.
My name's Karen Stockwell. I'm reading from Galena, and I did a lot of open mic poetry myself, mostly at a place called Cafe Aloha, which might mean something to Mark, David Rubin, and that. And I read a couple times at the Green Mill as well. But anyway, I'm going to read a poem called A Ladder to the Stars. The ladder reaches to the roof where I climb and can see into the dusty sky. Orion drifts slowly, sparkling like sugar crystals. The city's sounds disappear into the darkness of the deepening night. Inside the walls below me, people sleep and dream, but I cannot. My heart beats loud enough that I hear it in my head. Maybe I should have hoisted the unfinished wine up the ladder with me, but then I'd be stuck up here, afraid to climb down if I drank to the bottom of the bottle. I lie on the cracked tar and gaze up, letting my thoughts wander in circles until they twist away and hide among the stars. What to do? There's a pull on me I can't comprehend. It grows despite my attempts to push it away. Am I blessed, like the woman on the street told me? A man sitting on a park bench put out his hand, and I filled it with a dollar bill. He said, "Bless you. Is that good enough?" When I stand on a train platform, I sense the hearts around me beating in different rhythms. They are anxious or calm, murmuring or strong. But beneath that sound is another. It connects us all. It's the same one I hear now as I gaze into the galaxies. We are descended from the stars. It doesn't matter how far away they are, light years from the earth where we live, because we are connected in this way. It's an astonishing thought. We are ancient celestial beings. That is the rhythm that I feel within my own body. It's an undercurrent running through all life on this planet. We are one, though we see ourselves as separate entities, unlike one another. That's what pulled me up to this roof in a humble attempt to understand the cosmos and my place in it. Do I hear the music of the spheres? As faraway planets die, others are born. On this planet, we have but one place to call home, and it is beautiful. May it live forever, despite our attempts to savage it along with ourselves. May it live despite the human race. May the hum of life pulse its rhythm here forever. I have my doubts it will, but pray I am wrong. I glance below and see the red of a stoplight blocks away. It turns green and I look again to the sky. A star winks at me with its shine as if to say, "It's okay, we'll be here again tomorrow. Go to sleep, get some rest." It's not much, but it's enough for now. I climb down the ladder and head to bed, reassured by the twinkle of a distant relative. Thank you.
I have three poems that I dug out from my Berkeley days. The first is a poem at the night of my mother's death when I sat with her body all night. The second is a conversation with a poem that she wrote. She was a poet. And the third is reflections on torture when I was at a hermitage in Kentucky. As I began to think about agony creating beauty, and that nature needs our agonies to thrive. Okay, first. Okay. Turn out the dawn. Let the moon stare like shadows drawn by bones. The night exhales gray lace. Let the moon stare, bare ankle, flickering sheet. The night exhales gray lace, binds her, wraps her, takes her. Bare ankle, flickering sheets, smother her last tangled poem, bind her, wrap her, take her, cover the dawn. Smother her last tangled poem, stilled in silent flight. Cover the dawn. I cannot bear the light. Blown away. First, my mother's words. Poem. The words that dance inside my head will disappear when I am dead. I'll place them on a page, I said, and there they'll stay beyond my day to dance on pages. Blown away. Rebecca Stillman Osheroff, 1916 through 2007. My response. Dragonflies couple in the air, wings, wind, transparent desire. I find a wing drying between grass. I hold it to the sun. My mother made me a cotton dress. It has a pocket. I put a wing inside a cotton pocket, just for my mother. Clothespins hold white cotton sheets. Hairpins bind her hair. Nothing flies when held. My hand inside a pocket. I am a child. A crushed wing cannot fly. Her hand rests cool against my cheek. I've put it there. Mother, don't be afraid. She flies away. A white sheet covers a poem. I wrap my own long hair, anchor it with pins. And finally, Hermitage. Kentucky wildflowers need torture to scatter fertile pain in thunderstorms of pollen. Unformed words make brooms of drying stalks to sweep green excesses into blackberry brambles by the stream. A dream screaming in a hollow is a rabbit caught by an owl, music for the night to weave a cloak of copperheads. Memory is a vase for periwinkle. Stems drink silence while mud dabbers hide the disappeared from grasshopper eyes. Torture is rich loam, where words are machete hacked, like the burned sugar cane of San Carlos, so that Kentucky wildflowers can fill a hollow.
You've got Patricia Smith is in here. The great Patricia Smith, if she's still there. Patricia, do a poem for them.
A poem.
Everybody,
Okay.
this is one of the greats.
Okay, let's see, a poem, if I can remember one. Okay, this is a poem for my son, and all of the mothers who have sons will probably understand this. If I can, I hope I remember it. Children do not grow up as much as they grow away. My son's eyes are stones, flat, brown, fireless, with no visible openings in or out. His voice, when he cares to try it on, hovers one note in that killing place where even the blues fidget. Tight syllables, half spoken, half spat, greet me with the warmth of glint-tipped arrows. The air around him hurts my chest, grows too cold to nourish, and he stares past me to the open door of his room, anxious for my patented stumbled retreat. My fingers used to brush bits of the world from his kinked hair, but he has moved beyond that mother shine to whispers on the telephone, to the sweet mysteries of pearl buttons dotting the maps of young girls, to the warped, frustrating truths of algebra, to anything but me. Ancient, annoying apparatus, I have fortunately retained the ability to open cans, to warm meat, to clean clothing that has yellowed and stiffened. I spit money when squeezed, don't try to dance in front of his friends, and know that rap music cannot be stopped. For these brief flashes of cool, I am tolerated in spurts. At night, I lie in my husband's arms, and he tells me that these are things that happen, that the world will tilt right again, and our son will return, unannounced, as he was, goofy and clean, clever with words, stupefied by rockets. And I dream on that. One summer ago, 12 inches taller than the summer before, my child grinned and said, "Hey, Ma, maybe a tree bit me." We laughed, not knowing that was to be his last uttered innocence. Only months later, eyes narrowed and doors slammed. Now he is scowls, facial hair, bits of muscle. He is homey, pistol, red eyes, rolling dice. He is street, smoke, cocked cannon. And I sit on his bare mattress after he's gone to school, wonder at the simple jumble of this motherless world, looking for clues that some gum-popping teenage girl now wears my face. Full of breast music and finger songs, I stumble the street, staring at other children, gulping my dose of their giggles and cursing the trees for their teeth.
The greatest thing about the slam movement, and Patricia and Steve will probably attest to this, is that, God, the communities that have been created out of this, and communities that got everybody in it, like I said, all the generations, and just these human things happened. And it's the poetry's important. It's the opening of the door, but the real important thing is how we all connect to each other. Here I go talking a lot. I'm kind of excited because it does feel like a Green Mill thing here tonight. Larissa, thank you, and Carol, thank you for doing this. I'm going to do one of the classics here, and this is really I haven't done it for a long time. I'm going to do it tomorrow or Saturday at the Extinction Slam because they requested it. But this is kind of the poem that defines what the people in Chicago did for the rest of the country and the world, because we passed on the slam concept and the energy and the spirit of it as a gift to everybody. And Patricia will attest to it, that it was a very conscious thing that we did to pass this performance thing on that we kind of discovered. It's not that people didn't ever perform before. It's just, it was a new way, a very authentic way of performing that's not stilted or stylized. And as you could see when Patricia did her beautiful poem about her son, and then Steve is his kind of quirky, different thing. And everybody's different, and we have all kinds of different styles, and that's what the slam was about. And we passed that on to the other cities. And Patricia Sinsalach, Dean Hacker, and myself, the first ever slam team. We did that, passed it on in San Francisco to the Beats, who hated us at the time. Not hated us, but like, who were these people? Well, we we showed them, but we gave it to them. So thanks. So God, I don't know how you got me all charged up, but whatever, wow. Okay, so when you get to the top of the mountain, pull the next one up. Then there'll be two of you connected at the waist, tired and proud, knowing the mountain, knowing the human force that brought the both of you there. And when the second one has finished, taking in the view, satisfied by the heat and perspiration under the wool, let him pull the next one up, man or woman, climber of mountain, pull the next hand over the last jagged rock to become three. Two showing what they've already seen, and one knowing now the well-being with being finished with one mountain, with being able to look out a long way towards other mountains, feeling a temptation to claim victory as if mountains were human toys to all. When you ask, how high is this mountain? With the compulsion to know where you stand in relationship to other peaks, look down to where from you came up and see the rope that's tied to your waist, tied to the next man's waist, tied to the next woman's waist, tied to the first man's waist, to the first woman's waist, and pull the rope. Never mind the flags you see flapping on conquered pinnacles. Don't waste time scratching inscriptions into the monolith. You are the stone itself. And each man, each woman up the mountain, each breath exhaled at the peak, each glad I made it. Here's my hand. Each heartbeat wrapped around the hot skin of the sun-bright sky, each noise panted or cracked with laughter, each embrace, each cloud that holds everyone in momentary doubt. All these are inscriptions of a human force that can conquer conquering. Hand over hand, pulling the rope, next man up, pulling the rope, next woman up, sharing a place, sharing a vision, room enough for all on all the mountain peaks, force enough to hold all the hanging bodies dangling in the deep recesses of the mountain's belly steady, till they have the courage, till they know the courage. The only courage there is to pull the next man up, the next woman up, the next up, up, up. Hey, thanks.